Welcome to Cosmic Diaries. This is Priya Kali, your astrologer, and a very, very happy full moon in Aquarius to you. We're looking at the astrology for the week beginning August 20th to August 26th till we reach the last quarter of the moon. And thank you so much for being here. And a huge thank you to everyone who's newly subscribed to the channel. And of course, everyone who's been here for a long time. I really appreciate your support. And to anyone who's new and listening, a warm welcome to you as well. And I hope you stick around and sign up for more audios and videos. And of course, if anyone is looking for more personal insight into their chart, nothing replaces a personal individual consultation. So do email me at priya@cosmicdiaries.com. I would love to work with you. But with that, let's just dive into the week. And I'll begin with a quick recap of this full moon because it's a significant lunation. And if you haven't listened to last week's audio, I've gone into the aspects for this full moon in depth. So I do suggest you listen to that. I'll leave a link for that below. So let's begin. We're under the energy of a potent, liberating Aquarius full moon, which took place on the 19th of August. And at the time, we had major alignments taking place between planets, with all the personal planets Mercury, Mars, and Venus plugged into the alignments, which means that we are in the process of a collective and personal individual turning point. Relationships are reaching a milestone and moving over a threshold. Chapters are ending and beginning. Financial matters are as well moving over a threshold, so are creative projects and creative situations. And we're in the process of reshaping our lives in alignment with our innermost selves at best. This means there's going to be a need for total authenticity. There are profound revelations that are coming through. Chapters are ending and beginning. Lines are being drawn. You don't need to close any doors that you don't want to close, but at the same time, especially given Mercury is retrograde and we're still in the process of understanding situations in a deeper light and understanding ourselves in a deeper light. So move slowly with this process as more is revealed. But at the same time, this is a time now and over the next 2 weeks when we are closing old chapters, ending old cycles, and clearing out the past and what we've outgrown so we can really clear space for the commitments and involvements that we're now deepening and growing into. With the full moon in Aquarius, there's a need for detachment as we self-reflect on our own desires and what we're creating. And there's a need to stay present and to show up as authentically as we can. This will require us to be courageous and bold and spontaneous and to drop the mask and to let go of the need for validation from others for how we feel. Then trust and have faith that those that love and appreciate and see you will still love you and appreciate and see you for who you truly are on the inside. So ultimately, this is a greater process of liberation and spiritual liberation at the highest level. Over the next 2 weeks, the moon is waning, which means that we're in a process of release and releasing powerful emotions. With the moon in Aquarius, there's a need for detachment from outcomes and detachment from holding on to the past so we can allow for a process of transformation and change and for a fresh breeze to blow through. There's a need for self-acceptance above all and to have compassion for ourselves as well. Then we can extend the same acceptance and compassion out to others in our world and lives. Aquarius is a sign that rules the collective but also the individual. And Leo is a sign that rules the self, the inner self, or rather the inner child, the heart, and on the shadow side, the ego. So it's important now that we're leading with the heart rather than the ego or trying to keep up appearances or trying to people please. There are powerful revelations coming through and we're being presented with life-defining choices. So it's important to know where we stand. Remain aligned with your values and your integrity and dare to be true to yourself above all. Then trust that you can deepen the connections that align with your values and goals. Also, it's important that we're staying present and being true to who we are today and allowing space for the changes that are unfolding within us and around us, and allowing others in our relationships the same space to grow and evolve into who they are becoming. We're at a pivotal moment, individually and collectively. The major aspect at the time of this full moon that's been in play is the Jupiter Saturn square. And the next Jupiter Saturn square takes place on the 24th of December. So that's when we're going to see the next major step in this process. So consider this a larger evolving story. And with Mercury still retrograde until the 28th of August, we're still in the process of learning information and even learning our own desires, and we're seeing new ways forward, and we're seeing situations in a new light. So keep an open mind and keep an open heart as you move through this week. The next full moon that we have will be a lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is the first in a series of eclipses on the Virgo and Pisces axis that will unfold over the next couple of years. So this is significant, and we're unofficially in eclipse season now, which means that life and time is going to get denser and accelerate, where we're going to be living a lot more life in a short amount of time, and we're being drawn to our destiny. So it's truly important that we're staying present and moving in awareness of the reality that we're creating now. At best, this is a chance to restructure our lives and to manifest, materialize a dream or a vision that we have, and create the life so it reflects an inner truth and brings us a greater sense of joy and pleasure and happiness in every moment. This begins with finding that inner strength and inner wisdom and resilience and taking responsibility for the life that we've already created. Then we can learn from our experiences and grow from our experiences and release the past that we've outgrown as we, create a new future and strengthen foundations, clear space for the future we're creating and stepping into. So, with that, I'm just going to dive into the daily aspects. And after this full moon that we've had on the 19th, now the rest of the month gets a whole lot easier. There are fewer major aspects aligning, and the astrology is definitely not as intense as it has been. That said, there are profound changes in motion, so remain detached and just take things a day at a time now. We are now in the final days of Leo season. This week, the sun will enter Virgo, and the energy is shifting. So, let's start with the 20th of August, which is, as I record this, the moon is currently moving through Pisces, and late on the 20th, the moon is going to make a conjunction to Saturn and will then square Jupiter. And the moon will continue through Pisces on the 21st of August, making a series of aspects to Venus, Mars, Uranus, Neptune, before it enters Aries at 7:01 p.m. on the 21st of August, and then immediately will sextile Pluto. So on the 20th and the 21st, with the moon moving through Pisces, making a series of aspects, there are deep revelations coming through, realizations coming through. We're releasing powerful emotions. Relationships are moving over that threshold, and we're reaching a turning point and deepening our understanding of situations and what matters to us deep in our heart and soul. There may be toxic cycles that we're leaving behind. Consider this a process of filtering out. Also, be in no denial, because the ego can be very subtle and deceptive. It could be very easy to gloss over things because something is too painful to look at. With the moon in Pisces, we could be feeling a whole range of emotions, maybe realizing bittersweet truths. But in all of this, with the moon in Pisces, it's important to remember that there's grace. The sun is in Leo at this time on the 20th and 21st, and Leo is the sign that speaks of love, true love, the love that radiates from our heart. Leo also rules the heart. And Pisces is the sign that speaks of unconditional love as well. So the more we can practice having that unconditional love and compassion for ourselves and others, we can find that there are creative, loving solutions to whatever situation we face. And the love that we seek is all around us. It's just a matter of us keeping our hearts open. That doesn't mean that we don't have boundaries or limits. Sometimes love means tough love, but if we can allow space for healing and remain detached from what's unfolding, then we can trust that we can't lose anything that's truly real, and only love is real. So we're seeing the true depth of our connections and the true depth of the love that we feel as well. And there may be other connections that are ending, or we're seeing people's true colors. Whatever's unfolding now, it's important that we avoid judgment and we be patient with the story and situations as more is revealed, because Mercury is still retrograde. The best we can do right now is look at situations with an open mind and open heart and trust how we feel deep down in our soul and our intuition, and allow it to guide us. And be creative and fun and loving with this energy for sure. Then on the 21st, once the moon enters Aries, the energy shifts, and this is also the last day or final hours of the sun in Leo. So the moon and sun are both in fire signs. The energy is fiery, passionate, igniting our desires, and at best bringing us a greater self awareness of who we are and what we want, where we stand, and we are being moved to action. So it's a time to be spontaneous. Also, with the moon sextile to Pluto on the 21st, it's a time to really release the past, let go of dead weight and expectations of how you think things are or should be. The moon is waning, and we're in a process of shedding skin and shedding old selves and false selves so we can reveal the true self and light within. And with the sun at the end of Leo, we're at the end of this process of coming into our own and stepping into our light, which means right now there is that need to be bold and spontaneous and courageous. And the energy is passionate and dramatic and romantic and fun and playful, even at best. It's just about showing up as authentically as possible and allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to be yourself. We may have been burned in the past before, but we've learned important lessons, and we know where our boundaries are, and we know what our bottom line is. So it's okay to take down some of the walls that we've built in the past to protect us and to keep us safe. Now we're entering a new chapter, so it's important that we move ahead with greater trust. The moon is in Aries, and there's a need for trust. And we're deepening trust in our connections, but certainly in ourselves. Even if we are being drawn out of our comfort zone, as long as we stay true to ourselves, we'll know how to navigate this territory that we're entering. And the more we can let go of the need for validation from others or expectations of others and allow space for a transformation within ourselves and others, relationships can evolve to now a deeper level of understanding. And even on a personal level, we're reclaiming and evolving in our understanding of our power to create our life and create our reality and to magnetize what we most need into our world as we let go of old insecurities and trauma and pain and emotional baggage that need not continue to weigh us down and prevent our progress. So, this really is us stepping into the fullness of who we've become while reconnecting and staying connected with that inner child within and that fiery spirit within, which knows that everything is possible. It's just a matter of being creative and how much you want something, then you can find a way forward. Because on the 22nd, the sun enters Virgo at 10:54 a.m. and then Venus will square Mars later that night at 11:20 p.m. The moon will continue to move through Aries on the 22nd and through the 23rd. On the 22nd, as the sun enters Virgo and Venus squares Mars, the energy is shifting. We're reaching a turning point. We're now in Virgo season. And over the next 4 weeks, pay attention to where you have Virgo in your chart, because this is the area of your life that's being highlighted and illuminated with the sun's transit. Venus is currently in Virgo, and Mercury was recently in Virgo and will soon be re-entering Virgo. So we've had some taste of this Virgo energy over the past few weeks. And as the sun enters Virgo now, we're gaining more clarity on the way forward. Virgo is an earth sign. It's a mutable sign, which means the energy is shifting and changing over the next 4 weeks. Life is shifting and changing. the seasons are shifting and changing. So it's important that we're allowing space for change and improvisation and innovation and being constructive. Virgo is a sign that represents healing on all levels: mind, body, spirit. And certainly, there can be deep healing in our relationships at this time. This is a time to get organized, to establish better daily routines, healthier routines, pay attention to your diet, cultivate a meditation practice or some kind of devotional spiritual practice on a daily basis and incorporate that into your life. Spiritual hygiene is just as important as our physical hygiene. And certainly pay attention to your mental health as well. It's also a time to get your life organized and to acknowledge what is and isn't working for you so you can make the necessary adjustments. Especially because on the 22nd, soon after the sun enters Virgo, just hours later, Venus squares Mars. And this is an aspect that's been in effect since the full moon. And anytime Venus and Mars make contact, our relationships and finances and creative matters come into focus. A square aspect is a 90-degree angle between planets, and this is energy that's best resolved internally. So, this is an inner turning point, which then will translate into a turning point into our external lives. So, try to avoid projecting this energy, especially if you're upset about something. It could be easy to point fingers and blame others or the world or circumstances for our circumstances. The more we can own up to our part in the creation of circumstances as they stand, we can also start to find solutions and new ways forward. With Venus in Virgo and Mars in Gemini, there's a need to be honest with ourselves about our desires and what we want and be in no denial. There are creative solutions and loving solutions to situations, but it will mean deep acceptance and again acknowledgement of what we want, and then making conscious choices rather than simply repeating cycles and repeating patterns unconsciously. We're turning a corner from old patterns and we have choices, important choices ahead of us. And it can be very easy to tear down situations by looking for the flaws in things. But the more we can look at what we appreciate in situations and find the beauty in situations and accept situations for what they are, then we can make wise choices that nurture what's precious in a situation while releasing and weeding out what doesn't work for us. So we're certainly turning a corner in our relationships, and whatever situation you face, you can work it out. It's just a matter of keeping an open heart, looking for those solutions, and being willing to communicate and find ways forward. Because on the 23rd, the moon will sextile Jupiter, Mars, and then trine Mercury, which are all easy aspects and would suggest that we're finding a way to communicate and seeing ways forward that perhaps previously we didn't. And there are deep insights coming through and revelations coming through, and we may be having important conversations, learning information, allowing us to see another side to a story, and perhaps even another side to even our own desires and ourselves. So listen to what's coming through and be honest with yourself. Then you can make conscious choices moving ahead as you understand the past in a new light. And to be honest, this is exciting, passionate, healing energy where we're really finding a way to work with each other and to reach for our heart's desires. It's a matter of owning up to them and then being able to work with others as a team. So in relationships, this is a question of, after Leo season, now that the sun is in Virgo, can we work with another to build something together and be on the same team rather than only be focused on our interests and what we want? There's space here for everybody to grow and learn and love. What matters is how we're nurturing our connections and what's precious to us, rather than seeking perfection and looking at the flaws. This is about acceptance and then investing in what's constructive as we move ahead. Then on the 23rd at 8:44 a.m. after the moon trines Mercury, there are important insights, communication, information coming through, but then the moon goes void for the rest of the day until 8:01 p.m. So when the moon is void, I've mentioned this before, but in case you don't know this already, a void moon is ideally a time when you can just continue with any pending tasks. But if you have something important that you want to do or initiate, then it is said that things done during a void moon don't usually stick. So it's a good time if you have an uncomfortable conversation that you want to have and diffuse the situation. You can do it during a void moon. But if you have something important that you want to do, that you want to cement, then avoid doing it during void moon, because nothing much will come off it. So just having that awareness can be helpful to plan the day. With the moon void in Aries, personally, I would just take time to self-reflect and to be, and if possible, spend some time in solitude, be with yourself, and just really reflect on everything that's coming through, because we're learning important information, presenting us with those choices moving ahead. Once the moon enters Taurus on the 23rd, the energy shifts. We're feeling a lot more grounded and emotionally grounded as well. The moon is exalted in Taurus. The moon will continue to be in Taurus from the 23rd, on the 24th, and the 25th of August. So, with the moon in Taurus on these dates, Taurus rules our physical energy. So, make sure you're eating good food, grounding your emotions, spending time with the people that you care about, investing in the relationships that you value, and investing your energy in what you value and what matters to you. It's a great time to spend time in nature, take a bath, indulge your senses. This energy is very sensual. We are coming down from the energy of the Aquarius full moon, so this may also be a great time to declutter your space and to let go of things and what you've outgrown, so you can clear space for new growth, and you can nurture what's important, because now the sun is also in Virgo. So this is a great time to be healing and nurturing what really matters to you on a daily basis. So with the sun and moon both in earth signs, it really can be a productive time and a healing time and a time to get grounded in our connections and relationships and what's real. Just be constructive, acknowledge what is and isn't working, so you can release emotional baggage and declutter your life, simplify your life so it works better for you. And the same goes for your connections and whatever else you're dealing with. It's a good time to really just get back to basics. So on the 23rd, once the moon enters Taurus, it will square Pluto and then trine the sun late that night. So there is a sense of reaching a turning point, and we're evolving, we're shedding skin, and we're really finding a sense of healing and grounding, and life is stabilizing. This is also a good time to just weed out what isn't working for us. On the 24th, just after midnight, Mercury retrograde sextiles Mars, and the moon will continue through Taurus on the 24th and makes no aspects until 25th early morning, when it sextiles Saturn. So there's a continuing process of stabilization that's happening and grounding. With Mercury sextile Mars, there may be important communication that's coming through late night on the 23rd, early 24th, depending on where you are in the world. And we're coming to a deeper understanding of our desires, of our choices. We may be having important conversations with others. We're learning information. Be honest with yourself above all, then it'll be easier to communicate with others. Also, pay attention, make sure that if you're upset about something, take a deep breath before you say something that you might regret. We don't yet have the full picture. We're still in the process of learning information. And at best, this is a chance to see another side to a story. And the more we can keep an open mind, we can find solutions and the support that we need, rather than allowing our egos and perceptions and opinions, divisive opinions, get in the way of us finding common ground with others. Let healing be the focus, and worst case, you can agree to disagree. But as long as there's mutual respect, you can find a way forward. And this may mean sometimes that there needs to be space, but have faith in a process. And the more open-minded you can be and open-hearted you can be in your communication and in being able to listen to what's being said as much as communicating from the heart, you'll find that things can find a new level. You can find a new level of understanding with others and with situations in your life, so you can at least understand what isn't working and then find the creative solutions to heal a situation and get things moving back on the right track. So on the 25th, there are no major aspects taking place, but the moon continues through Taurus, so there's a continuing sense of stabilization that's happening. Later in the day, the moon will trine Venus and then conjunct Uranus and sextile Neptune. So we're reaching breakthroughs and we're seeing there could be a few sweet surprises on the way. And the more we can let go of expectations, we can be pleasantly surprised and be a real sense of connecting with a dream or something feeling like a dream coming true. We're in the process of materializing a vision. And this might be pushing our boundaries a little bit, but remain grounded in your values and dare to reach for your dreams. Then the moon enters Gemini at 11:03 p.m. on the 25th here in New York. And soon after the moon enters Gemini, it will immediately trine Pluto on the 25th, late at night at 11:16 p.m. And then on the 26th, the moon reaches last quarter phase. And the moon will continue through Gemini on the 27th and the 28th, and will enter Cancer on the 29th. But let's start with the 25th first. Once the moon enters Gemini, the energy shifts. We're now heading to the last quarter phase of the moon. There are important choices that are arising, important communication that's arising. There's a need to check in with ourselves and be honest with ourselves about what is and isn't working so we can make necessary adjustments. We're now, in the coming week, moving through the deep waning phase of the moon to the Virgo new moon on the 2nd of September, bringing a powerful renewal, unexpected changes, and growth spurts. So more on that next week, but that new moon is certainly shaking the tree of our lives. So anything that's not rooted in reality and grounded in a solid foundation is likely to fall away. So move through this process consciously, especially as now you reach this last quarter phase of the moon. Be honest with yourself about what needs to change in your life, any habits and routines that are not constructive that you need to let go of, any mental perceptions and ideas and self-limiting beliefs that you need to release that prevent your progress and prevent you from reaching for what you desire and creating the world that you desire. This is the halfway point between the Aquarius full moon and the Virgo new moon, and Pluto by the time of the new moon will be moving from Aquarius into Capricorn. So these are major shifts that are unfolding now. We've seen the potential that the future holds, but for us to really fully step into the future, there's an element of us having to let go of the past and wrap up unfinished business so we can make space for the future that we're trying to create. Consider this a lot of transition that we're going through right now, and this last quarter phase is a chance to really take stock and acknowledge what we're keeping and what we're letting go of and what we're weeding out. It's a process of pruning back and weeding out what's overgrown so we can foster and nurture healthier growth. So don't be afraid to let go of anything that isn't working, because trust that it's going to only create space and allow you something to come back in a way that's stronger and more sustainable. Even in our relationships, look at what you're putting into situations, especially if something's not working, rather than point fingers or expect someone else to change. Look at what you can do differently. Look at what you're bringing to the table. Especially look at your communication and beliefs and ideas surrounding perhaps relationships. And the more you can let go of your perceptions, you can start to see reality for what it is and nurture what's precious to you. We are being drawn out of our comfort zone, but there are creative solutions and unexpected surprises and developments in store. Because on the 27th, just after midnight, Venus will trine Uranus, bringing unexpected surprises and developments, drawing us out of our comfort zone, asking us to be innovative, creative, loving, and to remain detached with what's unfolding. 25th, 26th, 27th, the moon is moving through Gemini to that last quarter phase. This is that turning point as we move into the deep waning phase of the moon. So I'll have more to say about what's coming up next week as we move to that new moon. on the 2nd of September, but there are potent aspects taking place at the time of the new moon as well. Mercury is about to station direct next week on the 28th. Venus will change signs on the 29th and enter her home sign Libra, which bodes well for all our connections and relationships. And there are surprising developments taking place, which, the more detached we can be, the more pleasantly we can be surprised. And we are heading to a very powerful new moon on the 2nd of September, because on the 1st, Pluto is going to change signs, and on the 2nd, Uranus stations retrograde. So there are unexpected developments in store, and we'll be entering a whole new cycle and moving towards eclipse season. So I'll have a lot more to say about that next week. For now, as you can see, this week is a lot calmer than this full moon energy that we've been building up to. But that said, there is a powerful release on the way. Move slowly with self-awareness. Take things a day at a time. Remain detached from outcomes and be true to yourself above all. Then have faith that whatever's unfolding now is ultimately leading you to a place of greater happiness and joy within yourself, so you can start to live and build a life that reflects your heart's true desires. And certainly we're learning our power to materialize our dreams and to manifest a dream and to bring it to life. So we're living in exciting times for sure, and things might get even a little surreal, like waking up in a dream. All that matters is that we're enjoying this journey of life, and if we're not enjoying this journey, then it's time to wake up and create a new reality, different reality, one that we can truly actually be glad to be living. So I'll stop here for now, but once again, we're living in life-changing times, and don't underestimate your power to create your reality now with conscious choices, and have faith that if you've been given a dream, you've also been given the power to make it come true. It's just a matter of owning our desires and then being willing to commit ourselves to what matters to us, and then working towards our goals and our dreams, and then having faith that whatever else we need will come to us, because something that you've been dreaming of now is not just your dream, but the universe's dream for you. And with selflessness and detachment and love and dedication and devotion, all is possible. So thank you so much for listening. And if you want deeper insight into your chart and the opportunities that are arising for you, do reach out to me for an astrology consultation. I would love to work with you. And I'll be back with you with more astrology next week. Till then, I'm sending you all my love wherever you are. This is Priya signing off from New York. Namaste.